what's the craziest thing that I could do with one of these? And I come up with a couple of ideas. So in these boxes, we've got some aluminum extrusion. I am building a massive 3D printer. So when I was brainstorming ideas on how to make this work, I realized that if we turn the printer 90 degrees and we swap the Z and Y axes, we're sliding on a rail for Y, and then X can remain the same, but we rotate the extruder 90 degrees so that it's pointing down again. And then we put a bed under here going up and down. That'll solve our stability issues with the Z wobble, and it'll make it so that we don't have a lot of weight slinging around with the bed. All right, I'm not a machine shop, but I do know that these scroll saws, skill saws, circular saws, whatever you want to call them.
Come on, man!
They will cut aluminum extrusion. The important part is getting your square and making sure that your blade is square. Because when we're trying to span 2,000 meters, we don't want any deviation. We want these things square. So the more square we can cut them, the better it's going to help us in the end when we're trying to build this frame here. And we're also going to use the square as a guide to run the saw. What in the hell am I doing? This thing is not even in the whole frame.
It's too big. Too big. It's too big.
Alright, just to give you guys some context, I'm 6'1", and this thing's about, well, I don't know, 8 inches taller than I am. I was thinking, oh, 2,000 millimeters, that's a big number. Let's do that. Thinking that it was going to be like, I don't know, for some reason I thought a meter was smaller than a yard. But that's typical American, right?
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
But I think we're gonna have fun building it. It is kind of nuts. My wife hasn't seen it. She's gonna think that I need to be committed to an insane asylum. All right, so this is kind of what our updated, we're gonna have a stepper motor so that we can have Y travel with this piece, and then 90-degree bend, and then this piece right here is what's gonna hold our X gantry with the stepper motor that we can loop a belt and go down the X-axis just like on the stock ender. All right, everybody, I went ahead and designed these couple brackets in Fusion, and we have an aluminum build plate from the Ender 3, and I figure why not recycle it? We'll cut some brackets out of it because it's the perfect thickness. All right, so I don't know what Creality makes their build plates out of. I thought it was aluminum, but the CNC machine, it's akin to cutting through butter, and that's very evident when you look at the back, how it was pretty much just melting through the metal as the tool path went. It's kind of wild. Alrighty, so this is kind of a scaled down version of what I got going on in my head, just so I can explain it better. We're looking at y-axis this way, x-axis this way, and then we'll put the extruder on here. This is the actual plate that came off the Ender 3. We're going to reuse it. So the extruder will be the same. We're going to put a 1mm nozzle on it, obviously, and I would like to play around with a auger extruder eventually at some point. I think that'd be kind of nifty. But the drive belt is going to loop up over see how that's, and then we're going to have dual motors, and I'm going to cross the polarity on one of them, so it's going to spin the opposite way, and that way we don't get any weird angles drifting around on our y-axis. X-axis is pretty much going to stay the same. You know, a belt, it's going to loop around and hook onto the sled here. I'm still working out what I want to do for the Z-axis, but I have decided that we're going to do a stable, sturdy, stationary bed. As far as send, cut, send, I'm super happy with these guys. I did notice that, like, I ordered 2 of these and 1 each of these, and they sent me basically an extra one on each. So like those, they sent 3. They sent 3 of these, and then I've got those brackets installed over there, but they actually sent extra ones here too. So I'm not sure if that was an error or if these were test pieces that they threw in with the order. Not sure, but I'm super happy with the product. I did order these just basic. I didn't get any extra deburring or powder coating or anything like that. So you can see where, like, the laser comes in and out of the piece. Not super critical for my project, but I could see if you were having them make parts for some sort of interference fit, where that might be important. Not necessary on what I'm doing. But like I say, I will most likely be using these guys again in the future. Now I might venture out, try some other companies just to see who offers what and what their prices are. This isn't sponsored. I'm just happy with what I received, so I figured I'd give them a shout out. Also, the other thing that I've been thinking of is how do you heat a bed that's 4 meters squared? And I kind of had a thought that with these bars here being black, whatever I use for the bed surface, if I paint the underside of it black and we throw some infrared lights underneath it, that might work pretty good. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Obviously, we'd hook these up to some sort of solid state relay and run the relay off of the main board so that we could watch the temperature with a thermistor and kick the lights on and off as needed. Anyways, as far as the printer goes, I'm going to be taking my time on this. It's not going to be done overnight. There's going to be things that I have to modify and tweak along the way. For example, like I already know that these need reinforcement or even thicker ones, bigger ones. There's going to be a lot of bracing added to this and just tweaking and modifying along the way. But as I kind of showed, I've got the general idea of how I want this to work when it's done. Just scaled up from that. That just about wraps this one up. Drop me a comment down below, guys, on what you think about my proposed bed heating scenario that I'm kind of thinking of. Also, drop a comment on what you think we should name this beast and what should I print with it first. I'll be watching the comments to see what ideas you guys come up with. I have never printed a benchy in my life, but if that's what you guys want to see printed on this thing, I will do it.